let's talk a little bit about some of the subjects on the agenda. Health care. All of our viewers know, of course, that you have cancer, and we're praying for you, and we hope you're treated with all of the best kinds of treatments out there. Your husband calls for universal health care. Hillary Clinton calls for universal health care. Their programs seem pretty similar. Are there any significant differences between John Edwards' vision for universal health care as opposed to Hillary Clinton's vision of health care?
Well, there are a couple of differences. I think that Hillary Clinton took, and I'm happy to have her do it, I think she made the right decision. A lot of the details of her health care plan mirror John's health care plan that he introduced in February. That's really fine. That doesn't bother me. There are some differences, I think, because she has taken as much money as she has from the healthcare industries, from pharmaceutical companies and the like. She's actually the largest recipient of their money of any candidate, Democratic or Republican. It means that maybe she's going to be in a little less good place when it comes to negotiating the best possible deal with these people. She herself said she said it about China, but it's sometimes hard to be tough on your banker. It's sometimes hard to be tough on your donors too. So that's one difference. Another difference is sort of the way they pay for it. One of the ways that Senator Clinton pays for her health care policy is to take money that she's saving in Medicare. All of us talk about the fact that the pharmaceutical companies won a big battle on Part D of prescription drug benefit under Medicare, when they got the U.S. government to agree not to negotiate the lowest possible price for drugs. What an outrageous section of the law. But they got what they wanted. But every Democratic candidate says they're going to undo that. The question is, what do you do with the money? John puts that money back into Medicare, tries to close the donut hole, and tries to increase the strength of Medicare. She takes the money and pays for universal health care. So some of the differences have to do with things that seem under the radar, but are going to make a big difference to seniors, actually. The universal health care will still exist, and I think pretty much that her form is what John had proposed. But how they pay for it and how hard they're going to be able to fight for it are two important differences.
And that's an issue that the two campaigns can obviously debate. And of course, the other Democratic presidential candidates, including Barack Obama, they have their own visions as well. One final question, Mrs. Edwards, before I let you go. The latest Iowa poll shows it very, very close. Obama 27 in this new ARG poll that just came out today. Clinton 25, Edwards 23. Statistically, that looks like a three-way dead heat. On the question, though, of who has campaigned the hardest in Iowa right now, in this ABC News Washington Post poll that came out recently, 34% registered Democrats think Clinton has. Obama gets 26, Edwards has 25, although I believe your husband has spent more time in Iowa than any of these candidates, visited all the counties out there, yet he sort of comes in third when who has campaigned in Iowa the hardest. How do you assess that?
I think that television is the answer to that question. Senator Obama and Senator Clinton have spent millions of dollars on television in Iowa. We have just recently gone up in Iowa on ads. We have depended instead on on exactly what you talked about, visiting the entire state, rural parts, in addition to the more urban centers, small towns, visiting really in people's living rooms the way that traditionally people do, and that takes a lot of time. Not as much money, but a lot of time. But what that means is the Iowa voters who do get to see John, see him not necessarily on television, but get to actually ask him questions. We think in the end that process is going to pay off for John. That's what Iowa voters expect.
If he comes in third in Iowa, is it over for him?
Nobody in this race can afford to come in third. And that applies to everybody. I don't care how much money they have in the bank or how much press they're getting beforehand. If you come in third, it's a problem for you moving out of Iowa.
That sounds like a yes to me.
It's a yes for it. But if I were Mrs. Obama or Mr. Clinton, I would also be giving you a yes if I were honest.
Yeah, well, you are honest, Elizabeth Edwards. We know that. Good luck to you, and thanks very much for joining us.
It's always great to be with you, Wolf.